Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. It is War 3 of Season 33 and we are up against 4 Loki. We always have great matchups against these guys. We'll dive straight into things here on Path 6, going up against this Mr. Negative from Vega 583. I'm sure you guys are familiar with his channel. We are going to go in here and just kind of play this straight up, kind of just parry having, letting the reverse controls get shrugged, and then I'm going to go into Frenzy. Got some skill back boosts on, so get a decent amount of power. If I have to deck specials, I will. Again, not too worried about this fight. There we go. Go back in. Another SP2. I'm just refreshing my Frenzy here just to make sure it doesn't fall off. And then a special 2 and he's gone. So, really straightforward. But then this is where things get interesting. So I'm going into section 2 a little bit later in the day. I've turned on suicides at this point because I'm pretty worried about this rank 4 Knull that Vega has put on path 4. So I switch up my masteries and we'll get into this fight, but something I realized after I had done both of these fights is that I forgot to put a point into dexterity, and so I took both of these fights without dexterity on, and could have easily cost us. This was a really tight war, really close on both sides. We kept trading the lead, and yeah, this kind of mistake just can't happen. It's something that I need to double check, make sure my masteries are set up appropriately. But yeah, dex isn't on here, so it's going to get pretty interesting here in a second. I get a little bit confused, but I kind of just assume it's input issues and that I was messing up. But we'll get to it here. This fight is already almost over, so going pretty cleanly. I haven't had to dex at this point yet. And honestly, I probably could have finished this fight without dexing, but I think I wanted to bait out an SP1 just to be safe. But then I eat the SP1 even though I thought I dexed it. I probably did dex it, but dexterity wasn't on. So eat some health potions here, but I did not know what was going on at this point, so I move on to this Knull, which is the fight I was worried about. Vega's rank 4 Sig 200. And again, dexterity is off here, so you're going to see me right at the start think that I'm dexing away from a heavy, and right off the bat I eat a hit. So there, again, not able to get out of the way. So here I'm a little panicked, but I'm Moleman. I can block unblockable side to side. I'm going to intercept here. Not feeling great about the inputs, and I throw off this SP2. Get a good amount of power back from this, and then another combo, another SP2. Get a good amount of power, and then I'm going to combo him to death here. So all in all, it went really well, but again, a huge mistake not having dex on. If he had decided to go for a special, there's a probability I would have tried to dex at least part of it and failed and eaten some big hits. So not great, but we got through it cleanly, and we're moving on to our final fight of the war, which was this Peni Parker on the, I think it's node 55, brute force, hard knock life, best defense. And so my goal here, so just build to SP3 and then let the bleed nuke her down. So I turn on the energized pre-fight, and now we're just going into this fight, trying to hit into her. We've got the white mags pre-fight. He's not a hero or metal, so we don't get the passive stuns, but we get a little bit of an attack boost. I'm trying to get her shield down. And again, trying to hit her only once or twice while she's actually got the shield up, while she's got her charges up, because I don't want to feed her too much power with auto block. Just hit her once here. I'm trying to get her shield down again. That was my dog sneezing in the background. And here I'm going to just block this SP2. With the disorient, it actually does a good amount of block damage, so probably shouldn't be parrying in this fight at all, which is something I did better last time I took this. But eating a decent amount of damage here just because of those disorients. The block damage is pretty substantial. So we're almost to our SP3. Just need to get a couple more hits in. There it is. I want to bait out this SP1 to get the vicious buff. Counter it. So here it comes. gonna counter this with my heavy, and she gets a bar of power. She's gonna be at SP2 after this, so I just throw off this SP3, and I'm going to make sure not to eat her SP2, because that would be game over, pretty much. So you can see the bleed ticking here pretty substantially for about 7k per second. Now I'm just hitting into her block as much as possible, trying to keep my bleed rolling. Probably could have taken that in the block too, but at this point I'm just trying to finish out the fight. And there you go. So, ate a lot of health, but it's my last fight. Really the only one I needed Venompool for. Ended up going pretty smoothly, all things considered. Still some things we could have done to improve, like not parrying. But 4 fights for me this war, 4 solos, a huge mistake not putting on dex. And just overall, our battle group didn't have our greatest war. We died 4 times, but it matched their BG2 with 4 deaths. But in a very, very tight war with struggle bust from BG2, we went 7-7 and won on time. As you can see there, we're finished and they still have fights left, but we're already winning on time. So get the win, 2-1 on the season, decent start. We're just going to keep trying to do our thing, move on to the next war, and keep it rolling. So if you like this video, please leave it a like, subscribe for future content, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will catch you in the next one. Later.